So you're saying since it's this way and it produces those kinds of results,
Yes.
there is another way.
Yes.
So name that way for us.
So this is the whole premise of the accidental leader. Unfortunately, those systems will eventually break down. That is an unfortunate consequence of creating a leadership pipeline and having and going so deep inside of it that you cannot see outside the walls of it, that you end up producing the same kind of.
It's an echo chamber.
Yes, you've pulled the word right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You create an echo chamber, and you have an inability to see outside of it or to hear outside of it. And for some companies, like I gave the example of Firestone. Now, Firestone's collapse didn't happen all at once or immediately. It took decades. It took decades and decades and decades. They produced tires for how long? They even produced weapons. I was in the War Museum in Washington D.C. in Virginia, and there are these big missiles with Firestone written on them. So Firestone was a giant company, not just making tires. They made war machinery. But over time, over decades, the erosion happened, and the erosion happened because, in my opinion, there was a leadership hole that was starting to form. There was an erosion underneath, and it took a while for everything to fall through that. Unfortunately, for a lot of organizations, companies, movements, they have to go through that process of erosion and collapse. For some of them, it happens quickly. Others, it happens slowly. And in that collapse, a new leader emerges. And I call them an accidental leader because they're usually not the one who was in the grooming pipeline.
Yes.
They're usually sort of someone who was standing off to the side going, I think we should do things differently. And they were told to shut up and sit down. One of the most celebrated entrepreneurs of the last 40, 50 years is Steve Jobs. What people don't know is that Steve Jobs was working at Xerox before. And he had all his Steve Jobs ideas in his head.
That place.
Yes. And he tried to do them.
Yes.
And they said, no, go sit down, young man. So he left and started this giant company that has eclipsed
Literally.
Xerox.
Literally.
Him and his friend Steve Wozniak were there. And so you think about that and you see it repeating itself over and over again inside of these big organizations, inside of, or even smaller, mid-sized, small organizations.
I think it's up and down the chain.
Yes, up and down the chain. You see that erosion of leadership, and you see that in the collapse, someone else emerges, someone who saw something different, someone who had an instinct about something different. They usually tend to be reluctant. They usually tend to be not sycophantic because they're not trying to bend themselves into the leadership box that you've been trying to groom people through.
Because anyway, they don't see themselves as that.
No,
so
they don't
they're
see
not even
themselves
trying.
as that.
Yes.
Yes.